Coming up on Mountain News this morning, a southern Kentucky man faces 20 charges after a wild chase through 3 counties. Plus, the body that was found Sunday in the North Fork of the Kentucky River in Breathitt County has been identified. And the number of measles cases in the United States hits a 25-year record. We will tell you more about the outbreak.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. It is 6 o'clock on Tuesday, April the 30th. I'm Will Puckett. Thank you for tuning into Mountain News this morning. It was a warm day yesterday. It's going to be the same today. And if you are allergic to pollen, you're going to want to try and stick indoors. But it's all crashing at the end of the week, which is the good news. Brandon delivered more of that. Brandon.
It's the good news for the pollen sufferers. But yes, good morning, Will. We're seeing, again, lots of pollen this time of the year, but it's the time of the year for pollen. This morning, though, pretty quiet across the region. Let's go to Pikeville first. Over there, looking off of the Pikeville Medical Center cam, daylight starting to break. It's going to be another gorgeous day across the region. Just a few clouds back to Buffalo Mountain this morning, and things are pretty quiet here in Perry County as well. You can see all the blinking lights there on the transmitters on the distance. Satellite radar last 6 hours, pretty quiet. We're not showing you Doppler too much because there's not much to scan on it. We go out to the west to find some rain. It takes you all the way out to Kansas City to find a little bit there, maybe just a touch into parts of the area, hitting some drier air with a high pressure system over top of us right now. Mid to upper 50s for most of the valley locations, mid to upper 60s for some of those ridge tops, and the forecast today 85 with those southwest winds continuing to crank in, which is going to drive our temperatures up quickly. It's going to be a warm summer-like day. Full forecast on the way here in just a few minutes. Will?
All righty, Brennan, thank you. A southern Kentucky man faces 20 charges after a wild chase through 3 counties. 4 agencies helped arrest Joshua Grigsby. His most serious charges is attempted murder of a police officer. Phil Pendleton explains what started the chase and how it ended.
A frantic 911 call from inside a Corbin car
of a woman being held against her will.
Police went to Highway 2417 where a driver tried to get away quickly, in fact backing out a driveway so fast that police say that he nearly plowed into a deputy's cruiser. It would not be the first time, police say, 29-year-old Joshua Grigsby tried to run into a cruiser or put others in harm's way.
And thank goodness at 1:30 a.m. in the morning there's not that much traffic. So, but still it definitely puts everybody on the roadway in peril.
Police say that the chase lasted nearly an hour. It went through 3 counties and it resulted in Grigsby facing more charges than we have time to tell you in one television news story. It all ended behind the Kroger's on Falls Highway when police say Grigsby's car finally stopped after traveling without 2 tires, thanks to 2 sets of spike strips.
He did attempt to resist somewhat, but we were able to get him under control fairly quickly.
He admitted to consuming meth and was found to be wanted on outstanding warrants. Police say that it was a busy time for a lot of third shift officers.
We initiated the chase, and the Corbin Police Department as well as the Kentucky State Police from Post 10 and Post 11 assisted, as well as the Laurel County Sheriff's Office.
Police arrested a passenger, Tyler Williams, because he refused to get out of the car with Grigsby. In Knox County, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, the woman who called police was also found in the car. They say she claims she was sexually assaulted. Deputies are still investigating that claim. Well, now let's head to Breathitt County, where police there are investigating a death. That's where Kentucky State Police say a body was found Sunday in the Altro community on the North Fork of the Kentucky River. They identified the man as Kenneth Neese just before 4 yesterday afternoon. His family set out for a kayak trip down the river. Then, just about 100 yards away, they found a body floating. At the time, they did not know if it was him, but Monday, their deepest fears were confirmed.
How far did they go? About 30 foot, 40 foot down the river? And then they run up on him. It's just terrible.
Now, we still do not know a cause of death. You can follow this story as we learn more over on our website at WYMT.com. Well, a sad story this morning. An ATV crash killed a 6-year-old boy Sunday afternoon in Pike County. Police say 2 kids were riding the ATV when they made a U-turn and both fell off. WYMT's Marianne Fletcher talked with neighbors who say this should provide a harsh reminder.
One of the greatest joys in life is watching a child laugh.
He loved to play with my babies. He loved to play with all kinds of kids over here.
But fun turned into fright Sunday afternoon.
I was at the house, but they knocked on my door and told me, Melanie, you need to get down here and contact people. Start helping us contact people. I don't know if Keegan's going to make it.
2 children were riding on an ATV when police say an attempted U-turn sent Keegan Music and his friend to the ground.
So I went down there, and he was laying there, and they was trying to do CPR.
A sight neighbor Melanie Compton says she will never shake.
I won't get that image out of my head for seeing him laying there on the ground.
6-year-old Keegan loved to help.
He didn't want to stay in the house. He wanted to be outside all the time.
Neighbor Marlo Landry says he even created a bond with the garbage men in their neighborhood.
Keegan always helped them get the trash into the truck. And the one guy said he couldn't make the funeral, but just to make sure that I gave Keegan this candy, because that's what they always gave him for helping.
And helped plant flowers in her garden.
So I'm going to make a sign, and I'm dedicating this flower bed to him because of all the work he's done on it.
Compton says keep an eye on your children.
Just parents, love your babies, hold your babies, kiss them tight, tell them you love them.
Because you never know what the next day brings. In Pike County, Marianne Fletcher, WYMT Mountain News.
The driver of the ATV was not injured in the crash. If you want to donate money to help Keegan Music's family with funeral expenses, we have that information on our website at WYMT.com. Police in Kentucky arrested an Ohio man wanted for the murder of his 2-month-old son. Officers arrested 27-year-old Cody Colwell on Saturday. He is charged with the murder of his son, Caden Colwell. The baby was found not breathing in April on the 11th in Colwell's home in Warren County, north of Cincinnati. Police say the baby's death was suspicious. Colwell waived an extradition hearing in a Lexington courtroom yesterday, and he will be sent back to Ohio to face those charges. Well, the FBI says Army veteran Mark Steven Domingo, arrested for allegedly planning terror attacks in Southern California, went through a rapid radicalization in becoming an Islamic extremist. Investigators say he was plotting to bomb a white nationalist rally in Los Angeles last weekend, but agents stepped in and thwarted the attack. Investigators say the 26-year-old, who recently converted to Islam, was planning retribution for the New Zealand mosque attacks.
Mr. Domingo said that he wanted to kill Jews as they walked to synagogue. He wanted to kill and target police officers or attack crowds at the Santa Monica Pier.
Domingo was arrested on a charge of providing material support to terrorists. According to a criminal complaint, he had been planning since March to, quote, manufacture and use a weapon of mass destruction in order to commit mass murder. Domingo faces up to 15 years in prison. A St. Louis police officer pleaded not guilty Monday to killing a fellow officer during a Russian roulette-style game while off duty. Former officer Nathaniel Hendren pleaded not guilty to involuntary manslaughter for the shooting death of Officer Caitlin Alex in his apartment. Alex's family and friends were in the court wearing Justice for Alex shirts. Hendren will be back in court June 17th. 2 6th graders in Tennessee are charged with plotting a school shooting. Local authorities say their plan was set to unfold on the last day of school and end with their own suicides. The students were arrested and taken to a juvenile detention facility and charged with conspiracy to commit murder. They will stay in custody until a court hearing. No weapons were found during a search of the teens' homes. 3 members of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity at Virginia State University face charges in connection to a fraternity hazing incident. Deontay Barkley, George Feggins, and Michael Snipes were arrested Sunday. Back in April of 2013, 2 VSU students drowned trying to cross the Appomattox River at night as part of a hazing incident. 3 involved Sunday were each charged with 10 misdemeanor counts of hazing. They are currently suspended pending the outcome of the trial. Sickness has caught up to an eastern Kentucky school. The David School was closed yesterday. About 3 dozen students go there. Officials tell us so many teachers and bus drivers were sick, they thought it would be best to close. Just an update for you. The school will once again be closed today, also because of teacher sickness. Well, the number of measles cases in the United States hit a 25-year record. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says there are 704 measles cases across the United States. The new numbers come just days after the CDC confirmed that the U.S. reached the highest number of measles cases in a year since it was declared eliminated back in 2000. The CDC says 71% of the confirmed cases are patients who were not vaccinated. About 37% of all cases involve children 4 years of age and younger. The way we communicate these days often comes in the form of a text message rather than actually talking on the phone. One West Virginia 911 center is considering jumping on board that trend to report emergencies. Logan County's 911 director Ted Sparks says in the next month they will start testing out a program that will allow people to send a text when they need help. In an area where cell phone service is spotty, a text could make a difference when seconds count.
With a text message, you can have one bar and still get a text message out 10 times quicker than you can on a regular phone call.
If the text to 911 system is implemented, it would not cost taxpayers any more money. The system is also beneficial to people who are nonverbal. It would easily allow them to get the help they need when they need it most.
Well, the forecast this morning still pretty quiet across most of the region. We take a look at WYMT this morning, and all quiet here as we head out the door on this Tuesday. It's hard to believe it's already the last day of April. We take a look at the satellite and radar, and you can see pretty quiet here across our region this morning, and not a whole lot of action to tell you about. Temperatures, well, they are in the 50s and 60s across the board, and it's going to be a fairly nice day overall with temperatures climbing into the 80s and maybe even close to some record highs. 85 is the temperature or the forecast high, and 88 is the record. So we'll talk more about that coming up here in just a little bit. Will?
All righty, Brandon, thank you. And thank you for joining us right here on Mountain News this morning. More news is on the way. Still to come, when one Virginia kindergarten class tried their hands at writing a letter, they saw results. We will explain. And a Virginia boy with a critical illness has joined the SWAT team. We'll share you that story coming up.